Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today is a Friday, and there is a book known as Then I Was Guided. I'm not sure if this is going to come. Hi there, Seyyed, Burhaan.
Oh,
Hi. Right. And, um, uh, and it's an amazing book. And I thought to myself, you know, let's see if we can read this. I'd like to refamiliarize myself with the actual book, but I thought a novel way of doing it would be to get my son Seyyed, Burhaan,
Hello.
to read it for me. And also, he'd be able to read it to you as well. It's not a long book, it's got some short chapters. I thought maybe it's an idea to get through this chapter per chapter, which are about, there's 10 pages per chapter approximately in here. So it's not a lot. But this is my intro. I will introduce. I've already introduced you. Say, Burhaan, do you want to come over?
Hello.
Assalamu
Now,
alaikum.
I am the person that was peeking behind.
So he'll be reading. He'll be familiarising himself with the book and reading it to you people, and hopefully we can both learn from this. And you might maybe also able to do that as well. I'm going to put it on pause and then take it over to
Okay.
Burhaan. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad.
So I shall be reading a book by Dr Muhammad al Tijani al Samawi.
Tijani al Samawi.
Al Tijani al Samawi, called Then I Was Guided. So the first chapter we'll be reading, is a brief look at my life. I still remember how my father took me for the first time to the local mosque, where Al-Tarawih prayers were performed during the month of Ramadan. I was then 10 years old. He introduced me to the men who could not hide their astonishment. I knew previously that the tutor had arranged for me to perform Al-Ishfa, prayers for 2 or 3 nights. It was customary for me to pray behind the man with some local children and wait for the Imam to arrive at the second part of the Quran, i.e. Surat Maryam. My father made sure that we learnt the Quran at the Quranic school, as well as at home through private lessons given to us by a blind man who was related to us and who could recite the Quran by heart. Due to the fact that I learned to recite the Quran at an early age, the tutor tried to show his good influence on me by teaching me the kneeling points in the recital. He tested me repeatedly to make sure that I had understood his instructions. After I passed the test and finished performing the prayers and the recital, as well as I was expected to do, all the men came and congratulated me and my father, and thanked my tutor for his good efforts and blessing, and thanked Allah for Islam. The memories of the days that followed are still with me today. I acquired so much admiration, and reputation went beyond our alley to the whole of town. Those nights of Ramadan have left their religious mark on me to this day, and every time I go through an episode of confusion, I feel that there is a strange power which pulls me and puts me back on the path. Every time I felt the weakness of the soul and the meaninglessness of life, these memories come to me to elevate me to a spiritual level, and in light of my conscience, the flame of belief, so that I can carry the responsibility. The responsibility which was given to me by my father, or more appropriately by my tutor, to lead the group in prayers at an early stage, made me feel as if I was not doing enough, or at least not up to the standard which was expected of me. Therefore I spent my childhood and my adolescence in relative rectitude, but not without some innocent playing and eagerness to know and to imitate. Throughout that period I was surrounded by the divine care which made me distinguishable amongst my brothers for my calmness and composure, and for being on the right path, away from all immoral acts. I should not forget to mention that my mother, may Allah bless her soul, had a big influence on me. She opened my eyes as she taught me the short chapters, surahs, of the Holy Quran, the prayers and the rules of ritual purity. She took special care of me because I was her first son, and perhaps she found pleasure in educating me, as she was sharing the household with my father's first wife and her sons. The name Tijani, which was given to me by my mother, has a special meaning in the al Samawi family, which had adopted the Tijani Sufi Tariqa order, ever since it was visited by a son of Sheikh Sidi Ahmed al Tijani, who came from Algeria. Many people of Gafsa, my family's hometown, adopted the Tijani Sufi order, especially the wealthy and the educated families who helped to spread the order. Because of my name, I became quite popular in the Samawi house and outside it, especially with those who were connected with the Tijani order. Therefore, many of the elders who were present at the above-mentioned night during Ramadan came to congratulate my father and then kissed my head and my hand and said, "These are the blessings of our master Sheikh Ahmed al Tijani." Tijani. It is worth noting that the Tijani Sufi order is widely spread in Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Sudan, and Egypt, and those who believe in it are somehow fanatical about it. They do not visit the graves of other stages because, according to their belief, they acquired their knowledge from each other, whereas Sheikh Ahmed al Tijani acquired his knowledge from the Messenger of Allah, Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, directly. And despite the fact that he came 13 centuries after the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it has been said that Sheikh Ahmed al Tijani used to communicate with the great Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by talking to him while he was awake and not in his sleep. It is also believed that the complete prayers which were devised by the Sheikh are better than finishing the Holy Quran 40 times. In order to be brief, I shall stop talking about the Tijani Sufi Tariqa at this stage of the book, and if God wills it, I will refer to it elsewhere. Thus, I grew up with this belief like any other youth in our town. We were all praised to Allah, Sunni Muslims following the teaching of Imam Malik ibn Anas, Imam of Dar al-Hijrah. However, we in North Africa are divided in our Sufi orders. For example, in Gasfar alone, there are al-Tijani, al-Qidra,
Qadariya,
al-Qadariya, al-Rahmaniya, al-Salamiya, and al-Isawiya. For each of the above orders, there are followers and supporters who could recite the order, poems and dirks, invocation of God, in all special ceremonies such as weddings, circumcisions and vows. Apart from some negative aspects, these Suri tariqas played an important role in preserving the religious rights and in maintaining the respect for the sages.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.